Walk into any American kitchen and you'll find it. That dark bottle with the red cap sitting next to your salt and pepper. Most people don't think twice about soy sauce, but flip that bottle over and read the ingredients. What most Americans call soy sauce isn't actually soy sauce. It's a mix of chemicals, corn syrup, and artificial coloring. It was never fermented or aged. It's a chemical shortcut made in just 48 hours. Here's the scary part. These shortcuts create a compound called 3-MCPD, which is linked to cancer. Some brands tested in food safety studies showed 3-MCPD levels nearly 5,000 times higher than what Europe allows. Real soy sauce has been made the same way for 2,500 years. Just soybeans, wheat, salt, and water. You mix them with a special mold and let them ferment for 6 months to a year. This creates hundreds of natural flavors. But in the mid-20th century, demand exploded. 6 months of fermentation? Too slow. So companies found a shortcut called acid hydrolysis. They dump hydrochloric acid on soy protein, heat it up, and break it down in just 48 hours. Then they add caramel color to make it look right and corn syrup to make it taste sweet. That's when 3-MCPD appears. This chemical only forms when you use acid instead of natural fermentation. Animal studies show it causes kidney tumors and infertility. Europe limits it because even small amounts are risky. In 2001, UK authorities tested 100 soy sauce brands. 22 failed. Some had dangerous levels of this cancer-linked compound. Many of those same brands are still sold in American stores today. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 7 soy sauce brands you have to avoid. We'll also be mentioning brands that are doing a great job. So let's jump right in. But before we continue, consider subscribing so you never miss another video. Brand number 1, La Choy soy sauce. La Choy has been in American kitchens since 1922, but it's not real soy sauce. Check the ingredients: water, salt, hydrolyzed soy protein, corn syrup, caramel color, and preservatives. No fermentation, just acid-processed protein. Hydrolyzed soy protein is the red flag that tells you they used acid, which creates 3-MCPD. Here's the scandal. In 2019, Conagra, La Choy's owner, faced a lawsuit over their chow mein noodles. The claim? They contain trans fats while the label said 0 grams trans fat. Trans fats cause heart disease, diabetes, and Alzheimer's. The FDA eventually banned them. This is the same company making your soy sauce. La Choy is gluten-free, but only because they skip the wheat entirely since they're not fermenting anything. Brand number 2, Great Value soy sauce, Canadian formula. Walmart's house brand is cheap for a reason. The Canadian version lists water, hydrolyzed soy protein, sugar, caramel color, salt, and a tiny bit of real brewed soy sauce mixed in. By adding just a little real soy sauce to mostly fake stuff, they can legally call it soy sauce. But here's the scandal that reveals Walmart's pattern with Great Value products. In January 2025, just months ago, Walmart recalled over 2,000 cases of Great Value chicken broth sold across 9 states. The reason? Packaging failures that could compromise the product's sterility, causing dangerous spoilage. Treehouse Foods, the manufacturer, admitted the aseptic paper used for the cartons could allow contamination. This came right after multiple other Great Value recalls in 2024, including shredded cheese with metal fragments sold in 31 states, and macaroni and cheese cups with salmonella-contaminated powdered milk, affecting millions of pounds of product. In 2022, they recalled pancake mix with cable fragments from broken equipment. In 2010, 91,872 pounds of chicken nuggets with blue plastic pieces. This is a pattern. Great Value products repeatedly fail basic quality control, and their soy sauce follows the same cost-cutting approach. Customer reviews reflect this lack of care. One wrote, "This is so disgusting. It's super salty. I had to throw away my entire plate and I only used like 6 drops." The US version has been improved, but for years Walmart sold this chemical product to millions of families. Brand number 3, Silver Swan soy sauce. This Philippine brand has been around since the 1940s and sits on shelves in millions of Filipino households worldwide. But check the ingredient list. Soybean extract, not naturally brewed soybeans, not fermented soybeans, just extract. The parent company, NutriAsia, describes Silver Swan as delicately blended to perfection. Notice what they're not saying? Not fermented, not aged, not brewed, blended. That's deliberate. Companies that use traditional fermentation shout it from the rooftops. They're proud of it. They put naturally brewed right on the front label. Silver Swan avoids that language completely, which raises a serious question. Are they using acid hydrolysis? Here's what makes this especially concerning. NutriAsia is one of the largest food companies in the Philippines, controlling major condiment brands across Southeast Asia. They have the resources to do it right. They choose not to. Instead, they use vague marketing language that sounds traditional without actually committing to traditional methods. Food industry experts experts have called out this exact problem. The phrase delicately blended is marketing speak designed to sound artisanal without making any actual claims about fermentation. It's the kind of language companies use when they're hiding something. When a company won't tell you how they make their product, that tells you everything you need to know. If you're seeing a pattern here, good. These companies are all cutting corners and hoping you won't read the label. Subscribe to Food Closure because every week we expose this kind of deception. Drop a like and help us reach more people who deserve to know the truth. Brand number 4, China Lily Soy Sauce. This brand, distributed by Lee's Food Products in Canada, faced a serious recall in March 2023. But it's not just what happened, it's that it happened twice. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency issued recalls for leaking and bulging bottles. That might sound minor until you understand what bulging means. Bacteria growing inside the product. Pressure building up from gas production. The product is literally decomposing in the bottle. The recall warning was explicit about the risks: severe illness and possible life-changing complications requiring immediate medical intervention to prevent life-altering injury or death. Death from soy sauce. But here's what makes this unforgivable. It happened again. Another recall in 2023 for the exact same problem. Bulging bottles, leaking containers, contamination risks. When the same problem happens twice, that's not an accident. That's a systemic manufacturing failure. Most consumers wouldn't know to check for bulging bottles. They'd grab it off the shelf, take it home, and pour it on their food without realizing the product could make them seriously ill. This reveals something darker. China Lily's quality control is so poor that contaminated products made it past inspection, onto trucks, into stores, and onto shelves. Twice. The manufacturing process is fundamentally broken, and they either don't know how to fix it or don't care enough to try. Now let's talk about a brand doing it right. Kikkoman. Kikkoman controls 55% of the U.S. soy sauce market. They use traditional fermentation with just 4 ingredients: soybeans, wheat, salt, and water. The process takes months. When UK authorities tested 100 brands in 2001 and found 22 contaminated with 3 MCPD, Kikkoman tested clean, 0 contamination. They don't use hydrochloric acid, so they don't create 3 MCPD. Kikkoman is made in Wisconsin and available everywhere: Walmart, Target, Kroger, Whole Foods. It costs a bit more than cheap brands, but you're paying for real fermented soy sauce. This is the gold standard. If you only buy 1 bottle, make it Kikkoman. Brand number 5, Datu Puti Soy Sauce. Another Filipino brand popular in Asian markets across America. Check the ingredient list. 12 ingredients. 12. Real soy sauce has 4, maybe 5 ingredients maximum. But Datu Puti lists hydrolyzed soybean protein, the smoking gun that proves acid processing. Then they add monosodium glutamate, MSG, disodium guanylate, and disodium inosinate. All flavor enhancers designed to mimic umami. Here's why that matters. Real soy sauce doesn't need MSG. Traditional fermentation creates natural glutamates that give soy sauce its savory depth. When you use acid hydrolysis and skip fermentation entirely, you don't get those natural flavors. So you have to fake it with additives. Food experts have specifically called out Datu Puti for this. The presence of hydrolyzed protein means 3 MCPD is likely present. But beyond the cancer risk, look at what else is in there. 3 separate umami enhancers added because the product was never properly fermented. This is food science in the worst possible way. Not improving nutrition or safety, just engineering a chemical approximation of real soy sauce while hoping consumers won't notice the difference. Datu Puti is manufactured to taste like soy sauce without being soy sauce. It's a lab formulation designed to fool your taste buds while exposing you to compounds that were never meant to be in food. Good brand, Sanjay Tamari. Sanjay has been brewing soy sauce since 1804. They built a facility in Virginia where they ferment tamari using traditional 6-month methods. Tamari is made without wheat, just soybeans, so it's naturally gluten-free. It has a richer, deeper flavor than regular soy sauce. Sanjay uses organic soybeans and no hydrolyzed protein. They also make reduced sodium versions. You can find Sanjay at Whole Foods and natural food stores. When you taste Sanjay next to chemical soy sauce, the difference is obvious. Real fermentation creates complex flavors you can't fake with additives. Brand number 6, Kimlin Soy Sauce. This Taiwanese brand didn't just fail safety tests, it failed spectacularly. In 2001, when food safety authorities in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand tested soy sauce for 3 MCPD contamination, Kimlin products appeared on the failure list. Both their regular soy sauce and dark soy sauce exceeded EU safety limits. The numbers were shocking, up to 180 times the safe level. Not 1.8 times, not 18 times, 180 times higher than what scientists consider safe for human consumption. Their products were immediately pulled from shelves in multiple countries, banned, Deemed unsafe for sale, Taiwan has a centuries-old tradition of naturally fermented soy sauce made from black beans. The traditional method takes 6 months or longer and creates a rich, complex product that's completely safe. But when Western markets demanded cheaper products with longer shelf lives, some companies abandoned tradition for shortcuts. Kimlin chose acid hydrolysis for at least some of their products. Speed over safety, profit over health. Here's what makes dark soy sauce contamination especially dangerous. People use it in much larger quantities than light soy sauce. It's what gives braised dishes their deep color and caramelized flavor. Recipes call for tablespoons, not teaspoons. If you're cooking with contaminated dark soy sauce, you're not getting trace amounts of 3-MCPD. You're getting substantial doses, repeatedly, every time you cook. Good brand, Yamasa soy sauce. Yamasa has been naturally brewing soy sauce in Japan since 1645, nearly 400 years. They use traditional fermentation with koji mold, creating complex layers of flavor. Yamasa is available at Whole Foods and H Mart. They make regular and reduced sodium versions. The flavor is more balanced and smooth because it's real fermented soy sauce, not a chemical substitute. If Kikkoman is the everyday choice, Yamasa is the premium upgrade. Brand number 7, any brand with corn syrup. This is the universal red flag that applies across dozens of brands. If you see corn syrup on the label, walk away. Real soy sauce doesn't contain corn syrup, period. Natural fermentation creates subtle sweetness as the koji mold breaks down starches in wheat and soybeans over months of aging. That sweetness is organic, complex, and perfectly balanced with the salty and umami notes. Corn syrup is added to chemically produced soy sauce to fake that sweetness. When you use acid hydrolysis, you skip fermentation entirely. You don't get natural sugar development, you get broken down protein and nothing else. So manufacturers dump in corn syrup to make it taste more like the real thing. It's a confession printed right on the label. Corn syrup means they took shortcuts. No naturally brewed soy sauce contains corn syrup. Ever. La Choy has it. Many generic store brands have it. Some Asian import brands have it. Every single product with corn syrup is a chemical substitute. But there's an even bigger scandal most Americans don't know about. In 2022, Foshan Haitian Flavoring and Food, a major Chinese soy sauce manufacturer, faced accusations of double standards. Products sold in China allegedly contain far more ingredients than products sold in Japan, including additives, flavor enhancers, preservatives, and sweeteners. The scandal wiped $8 billion off the company's stock price. Chinese consumers posted videos on social media dumping large bottles of soy sauce they trusted for years. The term hex technology started trending, referring to companies that rely on chemical additives instead of traditional methods. This isn't just happening in China, it's happening in America too. Brands use different formulations for different markets. They add chemicals to cut costs. They rely on shortcuts and hope consumers won't read the label. The reality, the American soy sauce market is flooded with chemical imitations. In that 2001 UK test, 22% of brands had dangerous contamination. That's more than 1 in 5. The FDA doesn't require testing for 3-MCPD. Manufacturers don't have to tell you how they make it. The label can say soy sauce, whether it's fermented or acid processed. We know 3-MCPD causes tumors in animals and damages kidneys. What we also know, traditional fermentation doesn't create it. That's enough reason to avoid the shortcuts. What to look for. When shopping for soy sauce, here's what to check. Naturally brewed or traditionally fermented on the label. If it doesn't say this, assume it's chemically made. Short ingredient list: soybeans, water, salt, and maybe alcohol. That's it. If the list is long, put it back. Avoid hydrolyzed soy protein or hydrolyzed vegetable protein. This means they used acid, which creates 3-MCPD. No corn syrup. Real soy sauce doesn't need added sugar. No caramel color. Natural fermentation creates the dark color. Added caramel color means they skip fermentation. Choose transparent brands. Kikkoman, Sanjay, and Yamasa clearly advertise their natural brewing. Companies using acid are suspiciously quiet. Expect to pay more. Traditional fermentation takes time, which costs more. Dirt cheap soy sauce means shortcuts. Here's the truth. Most Americans have never tasted real soy sauce. They've tasted La Choy. They've tasted hydrolyzed protein mixed with corn syrup and artificial color, and they've been told it's authentic. These companies know exactly what they're doing. They know acid processing is faster and cheaper. They know it creates 3-MCPD, but they also know most people don't read labels or research brands. For decades, they've sold chemical soy sauce to millions of families. But you have power. Every bottle you buy is a choice. When you choose Kikkoman, Sanjay, or Yamasa, you're voting for safety and quality. When you avoid brands with hydrolyzed protein, you're rejecting chemical substitutes and demanding real food. Your family deserves better than soy sauce made with hydrochloric acid. Real soy sauce exists. It's available and affordable. All you have to do is read the label, look for naturally brewed, and choose brands with nothing to hide. Read every label. Research every brand. Protect your plate. If this video changed how you see that bottle in your kitchen, subscribe to Food Closure. We expose the truth about food brands every week. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to know, and I'll see you in the next video.